the lesson Third Level by Jack Finney. It is the first lesson in the textbook Vistas. Objective: to bring home the import of pressures of modern day living and its impact on humans and the different ways they deal with it. Podcast by Meera Bhardwaj, PGT English, Ramjas School, Artipuram, New Delhi. Dear students, hope you all are making the most of the time at your disposal. It has been a time of great churning. It's made us realize that nature is a great equalizer and nothing in life can be taken for granted. Your fears about board exams, etc., took a back seat in the face of this bigger adversity. We wish you all to emerge wiser and stronger with many takeaways. Consider yourself lucky that you've been able to partake of a visioning experience from a slice of your life. I will wish you to write down and share with your teacher your biggest apprehension during this time and the most profound learning emanating out of it. Now, I'd begin with the first lesson in your textbook Vistas. The lesson is Third Level by Jack Finney. In the 1950s, people were scared. Panic and chaos was prevalent. The world had already seen two world wars, and the Cold War was heating up. This is when Jack Finney came up with this book, which is a collection of short stories on escapism and time travel. Escapism means when you try to run away from something which bothers you or reality. And there are many movies on time travel under science fiction category. The Third Level is a short story from this book. Set in New York, the story is about a 31-year-old man, Charlie, who was mentally exhausted from the pressures of his job. Like any other day, he enters the Grand Central Station to board a train to head back home from work. Now, the Grand Central Station is a very big station which takes people to different places, and there are maze of tunnels taking you to different platforms over there, which can sometimes be very difficult to navigate. Tired and lost, he takes a wrong turn somewhere in a long, isolated tunnel and enters the third level of the station. However, it is stated that there is no third level in reality, but Charlie claims to have visited it. He even goes on to describe how it looked. The decor, the dressing, and the ambience belonged to 1890 era. He felt transported to the world of his dreams. He goes to the newsboy to discover the paper was dating back to 1894, thus assuring him the existence of the old scene and also the possibility of existence of that place or the time era or the existence of the third level. The repressed desire of going back to the time of simplicity and compassion overwhelms Charlie and prompts him to buy train tickets for himself and his wife Louisa to Galesburg, Illinois. It is a town where people enjoy the ordinary things in life. Charlie, fearing himself being caught in the wreck of World War, wants to go back to the land of peace. Now, this is the innermost desire which is there amongst all of us. Many a times we listen to our grandparents or parents say that past was much better, simpler. Things were not so complicated. People were not so madly rushed. There was peace. People had time for each other. They consulted each other. They had time sitting in the lawns, chatting, looking after each other, and knowing about each other's welfare. This is what is bothering Charlie a lot. These are the simpler time he aches to go back to. At the ticket window, he realizes that he doesn't have the old currency, hence can't buy them. The sheer desperation of escaping the grim realities drives him to exchange all his money and savings for the old currency, which was of lesser worth. But this time, he couldn't find the route to the third level. His wife, Louisa, starts worrying about his mental state. To explain it to her and the outside world, he brings a letter from his stamp collection. It was a hobby inherited from his grandfather. A blank envelope with just the stamp is called a first day cover. It is not meant to be opened. But the letter he brings, which shouldn't have been there, wasn't blank and bears a postmark of July 1894. The letter has a Galsburg address. Turns out, Sam, the psychiatrist whom Charlie approached for the assurance of his mental soundness, was not as incredulous of the third level as it appeared initially. The letter to Charlie is sent by Sam, who is leading a contented life now in Galsburg. He persuades both Charlie and Louisa to come back to the town and never giving up hope of finding the third level to it, which will be the gateway to that life. Now, there are many conjectures, speculations about the truth of the story, about the veracity of the story, and the interpretations of the story. At many levels, it is considered to be going into your own subconscious mind, looking at different levels a mind has, a way to escape from realities, creating a parallel world within yourself. Many explanations have been offered to deal with the story. I would basically like to keep it simple and maybe offer some explanations by way of your being able to tackle questions that might arise and also doubts that might come in your mind. Did it exist or did it not exist? There are few things which are better left open ended, and this is one of those stories we would like you to explore with an open mind and an open heart. The story can be analyzed by using various psychoanalytic tools. His deep seated yearning to escape one way of life finds fulfillment at a railway station. Trains have always been a symbol of exploring or starting anew or reaching a new life. Sam could be a figment of his imagination or may derive its roots from a real life character that Charlie might have experienced, or Jack. Charlie, to prove his sanity, could have come up with the story of a psychiatrist named Sam, whom he approached to resolve the dilemma in his mind. Now, this dilemma could be in the mind of any modern day man, any young man who's struggling to cope in this world. There are many people who find themselves to be a misfit in the times they live in. They may not be the epitome of what the generation represents to them. Sam calls it a waking dream wish fulfillment. When you say waking dream wish fulfillment, it could mean that sometimes you see dreams and mistake them to be reality. You can relate it to one of the lessons that people had done earlier, where Sophie is a child who dreams of meeting a football player. And all the time she imagines she's actually meeting him. These few stories have been introduced in the textbooks to make you aware that people do create a parallel world to escape from the realities of life. Entering the third level is like living the dream he sees every day with open eyes. It is an escape to a world free from wars and worries. Whenever there is an imminent war, or there is a disaster, or there is a problem of a magnitude which people cannot handle, everybody resorts to either escapism or some coping mechanism with which they can tide over the crisis. The letter sent by Sam can actually be a piece written by Charlie mailed to himself. The idea derived from his hobby of stamp collection and mailing the first cover to himself. There can be another outlook to this. Sam can be a real existing figure or a psychiatrist who has moved out of city and was as troubled as Charlie. The third level is a microcosm of Charlie's desires and serves as a portal to where he wants to be. He wants to break out of his present and build his future in the past. He's so disillusioned with his life that as soon as he finds a train to Galsburg in 1894, he buys tickets for him and his wife. It is possible that he is vanquished by the relentless toils at work and the vagaries of the world. He is like a young man who is a misfit in his generation, a man caught in the wrong era. The story dwells on the theme of escapism, not only as a psychological refuge from the grim realities of the present, but also as a desire to stay in the past. This desire made Charlie unconsciously create a third level and created his alternate self in Sam. An alternate self means a part of yourself which you cannot consciously project or show to others. You create another self. Now, there are many interesting books dealing with this concept. There is one thriller called Sybil. I think if given an opportunity, you all should do some reading related to such stories where people build an alternate self or create an alternative personality. Galsburg probably could be his hometown, or maybe tales about it were narrated by his parents, and he hankered after the life or the kind of life that people led there. Now, New York, where he resided, was a total contrast. Hence, he yearned for being at Galsburg. The story ends on a mysterious note when both Charlie and Louisa end up searching for the third level. It symbolizes how Charlie's suppressed desires get the better of him. The paradigm of the story is nebulous, uncertain. It is something you can't say there is a hard, solid fact or there is any hard reality in which you can moor your explanations. And it intersects the ideas of time and space, which many science fictions have done. There are many movies about people jumping time and space or reaching, in the future or going back into time. This is an attempt to do something similar. It is also a commentary on how the present has corrupted our rich heritage and simplicity. Maybe the times we live in are never always cherished by us. We always yearn for or hanker for something that we do not have. There is an insatiable desire in human beings, which is a search of utopia, an ideal world to exist. Every human being tends to romanticize and think about a particular time or era in which he would have preferred to live. Obviously, they are not aware of what could have been the drawbacks of being in that era. This is the cycle of life, or this is the churning we all feel, or the yearning in the bottom of our hearts, perhaps to escape the present, or by and large, I would say, to escape the worries and the pressures. Children, escaping is not the way forward. I would again like to use this lesson to give you a tip about how to lead life. Solutions do not lie in dreaming with your eyes open or dream wish fulfillments. Solutions lies in dreaming and working on your dreams and making them a reality. Do not resort to escapism. It doesn't solve problems. It could create more problems. Escaping is a cowardly act. Confronting a problem can get you solutions. Making yourself fit and adapting to changes in life and developing the life skills needed to bear the pressures or tolerate the realities of life is the only way to bring cheer to people around and bring peace to yourself. The yearning and hankering is natural, but escapism is not the solution. Try to make your present the way you would want it to be. You are the change and you can bring about the change. So let's work towards making our present so beautiful that we only have inquisitiveness to see the past or present or future, but we should be happy to be where we are. So, children, I would leave you with this thought how to work on making your present more beautiful and happier. Thank you all, children, and have a nice day.